What's good, guys? Derek here from DaseDesigns.com, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be getting to an eSports text logo, also known as a Wordmark logo. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this cool, pretty dope, kind of like electric style, very electronic styled, eSports logo, Wordmark, text design, whatever you guys want to call it. Showing you guys how to do this so you can do it for your own logos, your own Wordmarks, and just kind of take this somewhere and just create something unique. So yeah, guys, we're going to get to the footage and I'll catch you guys in a second. Alright guys, so we're going to start off. I'm basically going to be beginning to look for some type of esports or sporty font. So again, guys, we're going to be touching on how to make an esports text style logo, something that's kind of unique and custom. Like I usually take a font and then begin to adjust it and then further change it. So like this right here is kind of like the stock font, but yeah, as you can see, I actually like changed it up. It just looks really unique and just not, so basic and bland. So one perfect place to look is like defont.com. They have a lot of great free fonts. And then a great place to look is Square. So if you look at a lot of sports logos, a lot of the shapes of the logos are really square rather than being so round. It's kind of more aggressive just because of the straight edges and straight lines. And then another one would be slab serif. But anyways, I'm going to get straight into it. So yeah, I just want something that looks kind of gamey and e-sporty, if that makes any sense. And when you think of esports, you think of electronic sports. So electronic is another word to keep in mind. So right now I'm just clicking on a few that potentially work. Alright guys, so I just downloaded these two fonts, this one right here and this one right here. I went with these because again they can't really have that electronic kind of feel, so that's kind of what I want to go for, just something kind of unique. I already downloaded them and stuff like that, so I'm going to go to Adobe Illustrator. I'm just going to call it eSports Text Tutorial, and I usually put mine on about 2000 by 2000 tutorial, yeah, 2K by 2K, just a nice decent size. Then I always go to view and then turn snap to pixel off. You can keep it on if you want. I keep it off just for mascot logos, just a personal preference. But yeah, so now I'm just going to create a new layer and just put it on the top. So push T on my keyboard for the text tool. I'm just going to type in eSports. So push V on my keyboard, or you can click this up here, hold shift, click and drag just to expand the size. So yeah, now I'm just going to look for this font that I just downloaded, those two right there. Yeah, I'm just going to look for the name. Okay, so one is called Netchow and then ISL. So yeah, let's look for that. Alright, so here's this one right here. I really love this one. It's extremely long, so I'm going to have to customize it there. And then ISL was the other one, Fade to Black. What a great song by Metallica. If you haven't heard it, check it out. But yeah, so this one's Fade to Black. I really like this one and I really like that one. This one's already unique. Like you could literally just use it as is, but then again, you can imagine thousands of people have already done that. For example, this one has 30,000 downloads. Only 7 yesterday, but 30,000 overall, so a lot of people have used it. So that's why I highly recommend customizing your font, your word marks. This is based around word marks, not paragraph text. So instead of overthinking about this, I'm just going to move on to this one and keep it rolling. I'm actually going to delete this one. I got another one that looks almost exactly the same. I used it earlier. It's called Reality Hyper Regular. I got it from the same website. Just type the name in and it'll pop up. So for this one, object, expand. This one's a little bit more versatile. That R, I gotta switch that up. But yeah, I expanded that, so I'm gonna push command semicolon key. Never mind, that was a waste of time. But I'm just gonna click and drag out a ruler, and then push the command, hold command or control, semicolon, and that brings up our ruler. You can hide and show it like that. So yeah, now I just want to straighten this out. Right now it's a bit slanted, so it's got a shear to it. So I'm just gonna use the shear tool. So I'm just gonna align one of the straight edge anchor points. So the left side of this E is straight. As a flat edge. So yeah, I'm gonna align that, then go to the shear tool, click here, and then click on the other anchor point that's at the top that you want to keep straight. Hold shift, drag it over, and then whenever everything is I guess aligned vertically, we let go. Now another thing I don't really like is the fact that it's not really even. Like the width of this right here, or the weight of this is skinnier than this. I would rather it be the same. So one thing I'm going to do is just highlight all of this. Push A on your keyboard and then hold shift, click and drag, and then highlight those anchor points. And then I'm going to do the same for the inside here. And then I'm just going to bring that down till I think it's about right. That one looks pretty good. One thing I'm going to be doing is extending the height of this typeface. So again, I'm just push A on my keyboard for the direct selection tool, hold shift, click and drag, and then I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard and push the down arrow. And I can't remember how many bumps I did, how many times I did that. So I'm just going back, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. Alright, so I'm just going to do the same for the bottom right now, just highlighting all these anchor points. I believe I said 4. I forgot that fast. That is sad. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. I went up that time. So now the weight is a bit more similar. It's still not. So I'm just going to Command C, Command F to paste it in the front. So yeah, as you guys can see, it is nowhere near as wide as the vertical line, but I think it's fine. It's a little bit better. I actually want to bring this middle of the E in. I hate how it goes off to the side like that, or I mean how it was so aligned perfectly. I also want to bring these, whatever these things are called, I can't remember. I'm going to bring these up. 4 bumps. Bumps, that's a weird way to say that. So now I want to add more weight. So I did that to the top bar, the bottom. I want to do it to the middle now. So I'm just trying to be careful when doing this on certain letters. So I'm just going to do 4 down on that one. And I kind of like the bottom of the Wordmark having more empty space. It's something I see a lot with sports text and Wordmarks. Like the top portion will be thinner, or it'll be shorter, and then they'll extend out the bottom. I've seen this on some like older, more classic sports logos with regards to the Wordmark. So yeah, I kind of like that. Just personal preference. Something I think is cool. So yeah, anyways, I widened up this right here. So now I got to do it to the P. So I'm just going to highlight that and this one because I want this line to stay the same. So yeah, I did that 4 times. And then the R is a little tricky. So it's tricky, 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 tricky. Yeah, we all know the song. Okay, so 4 times again, and bam. So one thing you could do to be like super perfect is to make sure all of these bars that go horizontally are all aligned, and they already are. Sometimes in other typefaces I've seen they are not, which is usually pretty whack. One thing I don't like is this little thing right there. I hate that. It looks so whack. But so now I'm just gonna switch it up. I'm actually gonna try something. So I'm just gonna bring out my ruler, click and drag it, and snap it to this anchor point. Hold Option or Alt, and then Command or Control semicolon key. That's how you unlock your rulers, and to do that again, that's how you lock them. So now I can't control it. So hold down Alt or Option, Command or Control semicolon, click and drag over the ruler. And now that I have that, I'm gonna push R on my keyboard, click on the anchor point, and then click on the ruler and drag it. That's how you rotate the anything by holding R, but that's how you rotate anchor point specifically. And I did that because I want this side to be aligned with that one to be the same. So thankfully it just snapped. So now I can just click and drag this over, and bam. So now it's a little bit better looking. Looks kind of cool. I'm just gonna click and drag out a ruler, snap it to the bottom, and I want this little thing right here to be the same. So first off, I'm gonna bring this one up, and then this one follows that line, so that was super easy. Alright, so now we got everything nice and aligned. I actually want to bring this over one. I'm just playing this by eye right now. There's no law that says you got to do this. You know, maybe you could leave that thinner actually. Okay, so another thing, this gets really thin right here, this angle. So I want to, I'm going to bring this down one and then right one. See how that looks? Looks all right. I'm going to do that again. Again, I'm just playing this by eye. There's no rule to this. So I did 2. So I'm going to do that the same. So 2 down, 2 right. So 2 right and 2 down again. Again, if you're doing this like for a client, it'd probably be better to measure these just to make sure everything is really on point. But again, this is for a video, and it looks really good already. So yeah. So again, one thing I wanted to do was just make this more similar. So I guess I should have kept the typeface so we could take a quick look back. But yeah, here's kind of where we started, and then here's where we are now. So yeah, this is kind of how I go about making custom quote-unquote typefaces or word marks. Just things looking more unique. I just noticed these two S's are not the same. I actually forgot to do that to the bottom. So I'm going to make the one that I want to update it with. I'm just going to select both of these, so click and drag, and then I'm going to go to align and then push this one right here. Whoops. Make sure that your align to is set to selection, and then click on the one you want to align it to, and then push this button right here. So now I got that. So yeah, off camera I quickly added some more length. As I mentioned, it was very lengthy, you know, very long. I would rather it be much more skinnier, so I increased the height of it. So I quickly you know, just pushed A on my keyboard, highlighted the bottom anchor points, and then pushed shift and then the down arrow key just to add more height. So I think it looked more like this a minute ago. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I just did 2 shift down pushes on the bottom and then 1 on the top. Again, just to add more height to it. I'm just adding some weight right now. Again, I'm just doing this very roughly. I'm just holding shift, click, and then doing a few bumps on my my keyboard just to add some more distance excuse me, in between each letter. I feel like usually when you're starting off and doing something in black, so right now it's black on a white background, if I quickly create a black background and then reverse it, so just simply group these, make sure it's on the top, push I, make it white, you'll notice this looks a bit more bold, and the lines, the distance in between each letter looks a bit skinnier. There's something about our eyes that when we reverse things like this, it kind of changes. So one thing you could do, what I would do in this case, I would make these thinner, but I'll get there later. So yeah, this looks pretty good. I feel like adding some more weight or distance in between each letter is good. And again, I'm just playing this by eye. This isn't based on any rule. This is just based from my experience. So yeah, again, that looks pretty dope. I guess like a next step would be to, I guess, even make it more unique. So one thing I could do is round these edges. They look pretty dope. So yeah, right now I'm just playing around with it to see what we can get. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to do is add these little things right here back to the bottom. The bottom currently doesn't have any. So yeah, right now I'm just clicking in my anchor points to make this work. So if I change colors, that's what I just created. And I want to drag this to the bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna ungroup this and then highlight both of these, select the one I want to align it to, again go to our align and then click this button right here, and that will align it to the left side, and then I'm just gonna bring it down until it's about connected. I'm gonna get rid of this one, not that, get rid of that one right there. I'm also gonna click hold shift and option or alt and then drag, and that's how you duplicate it, as you can see. But yeah, I just want to highlight these two, highlight that bit, and then make it black, and then I'm just going to do the exact same thing for the E over here. So we already got our S done, so I'm just going to click and drag that one over. So yeah, I'm just going to do this for the letter E really quickly. Push I on my keyboard and make it black, and then I'm just going to go over here to where S was, click it over, change the color so I know which one is the new one. Highlight the old one and the new one, which is orange. Again, go to align and then align it horizontally, the center. But I want to align it to the old one. So now we got that. Push, just wanted to lock that one really quickly. And bam. So now I kind of got that. It's a little bit more the same. Like this one was kind of cut off on the bottom. I just wanted it to be the same on both top and the bottom. So another thing I could do to make this even more unique, like how this separates, I could do the exact same thing for our E. I used to see that a lot on like graffiti, so maybe I'll do that on this one. So I just clicked out the rulers just to get the width the exact same. And then one thing I do love for measuring is using circles. So you may think, why not use a square? Well, the distance from this corner to this corner is longer than the distance from this flat side to that flat side. Circle from the middle to the outer side of it is going to be the exact same no matter the angle, because there aren't any pointy edges. So I use circles for measuring like distances and like weight, like in between here. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to add this ruler to this part, and I hope I didn't drag. Okay, yeah. So I want to make this pink so I can see it, and then just align it with that ruler right there. And then I'm going to add a ruler to the edge of this circle. And then I'm just going to click in a nice quick little path or object. Fill it in with white and see how it looks. Okay, so that kind of looks cool. It just makes the E look a bit empty though. So I'm actually just going to keep it together. So yeah, there's a lot of testing with this. One thing I could do to make this more perfected was to make these two lines on the same axis, I guess, the same angle. So yeah, that's about right. So yeah, I just kind of went there and did that really quickly, but it looks a bit extensive and unnecessary. So I'm just going to leave it kind of where I had it before. So yeah, moving forward, it looks kind of good. I'm just going to highlight them all, Command or Control and then G, and that's how you group them, and then hold Option or Alt, click and drag to drag that one up. So yeah, this looks all pretty good. I might make some adjustments in a moment, but now I'm going to show you guys how to add the outline. So if I go to my Behance really quickly, my little portfolio thingy thing. So yeah, as you guys can see, we got the normal text, what we got right now. It's yellow here, and then we got like an outline going around it. So how to create that perfect box, or just like the perfect shape. So again, make sure everything is grouped. Go to Object, Path, Offset Path, and then pick a number. And then click Preview. And now we're getting on to something. So there's a lot of empty space. I usually max it out a lot more. So like something like 25 is pretty good. It might be super fat in this case, but I'm going to go with it. So when you do that, you're going to click it and everything's going to be grouped. So just click Ungroup. And then before you do anything else, hold Shift and then click on the outline, quote unquote, and that should have the text alone selected. And then before you click anything else, hold Command or Control and then G to group that. Push I on your keyboard and click another color. And now the text is nice and grouped in together, separated from our outline. So I just pushed the minus key on my keyboard to get the delete anchor point tool, and I'm just getting rid of all these unnecessary anchor points. Another thing we can do is go up here and go to the smooth tool and then click and drag, and that'll get rid of all of the unnecessary anchor points. Be careful if you guys do this on like circular shapes, like a circle. Sometimes it can throw off the actual shape itself. But yeah, so now we just added you know, a nice little outline going there. So it looks pretty cool. It looks super basic, and I was going to say boring, and again it's still kind of long. So I just want to add some more weight. Again, I'm pushing A on my keyboard, highlighting these anchor points, holding Shift, and using my arrow keys to add some more weight. So I'm just going to ungroup these. I'm going to hold push A on my keyboard, click and drag over the anchor points that I want to move over, and I did everything. I'm going to be selecting everything, every letter, and I'm going to be stopping in the center of the space. So okay, that's too slow. So hold Shift down and then push right on the arrow key. Again, hold Shift when you select these and just try to select the anchor points. Whoops. Yeah, hold Shift and yeah, do this over and over every time. So don't hold Shift when you select, just let go of Shift and then select it alone. Alright, so now there's some more space in there. In between each letter, that P looks super empty, but it looks alright. So yeah, that looks pretty good, super basic. When you think of other esports text, you kind of get this idea of maybe adding some depth if the internet didn't break. But yeah, so it's kind of got this, trying to think of the name. Anyways, I'm just going to highlight all of these letters, Control G, Command or Control G, and then highlight everything, and then just continue to drag it off so I always have somewhere where I left off. So now I'm going to select both of these, Command or Control G to group it. So now when I click once, it moves everything. Then I'm going to go to Effect, Warp, and Arc Lower. I'm going to give an arc to the bottom. Minus 15 is usually a decent size. Looks a bit ridiculous on this one. So minus 5 looks a bit boring. Minus 10 looks about right. That looks pretty good. One thing we could do, again, I'm just going to click and drag, is go over here to Appearance. And again, if any of these you don't see, you can always just go to Window and then just click it. So Appearance, that's the one I want. So I'm just going to click on this arc lower, and then we're going to add some vertical, whatever it's called. So as you can see in this picture, it kind of flares out right here. We're going to be doing that really quickly. So go to vertical and then just put a number in there, usually something low, so like 3, 2, like 1 looks alright, 2 looks pretty good, 2 I like. Man, again, it's like so thin. I hate that. So maybe I should have like chosen a shorter word. But yeah, that looks pretty good for now. I'm just going to continue to click and drag and bring these up. So yeah, that looks okay. I'm trying to think of what else I could do to make it look cooler, just make it look more unique. I'm just going to go to Object, Expand really quickly just to expand that. Alright, so next up what I did, I just added some more weight to this. As you can see, this one up here, I believe this is the last one we used, was super thin and it looks super not bold and kind of boring. So I like adding a lot of weight to mine. So yeah, the last thing I did, I went to Path and then Offset Path. So I pushed A on my keyboard, clicked on the outline layer, outline object, and then went to Offset Path, and then I did 5, and then a few seconds ago I did 3, so that's a total of 8. So I added 8 pixels, I guess you could say, of width to this outline, and then just add some more weight. So yeah, really quickly, so yeah, one thing I want to do is I kind of want to figure out where the center is. I'm gonna group this, and then I'm actually going to Control C. So right now I'm clicking on the outline, Control C, Control B, that's to copy and then paste it behind, and transform reflect without clicking on anything, and then I want to reflect it across the vertical axis, and I'm going to click OK, and then that's going to reflect it perfectly. So I'm just trying to do this to see where the center is. So if I align this like that, now you can see it's a square now per se. So now when I highlight both of these, I can see where the exact center is. So yeah, now that the center is there, I'm going to put a ruler there, and I'm going to get rid of that one that I don't need. See, prior to that, you'll notice it didn't show the center, and that's because this bottom point extended out farther than this, and this one, on the left side there's a point here, on the right side there isn't. So if there was a point there, it would extend it out farther. So that's why it's not actually the center. This is actually the center per se, at least for what I'm trying to do. So yeah, now I just want to put a point on the center, the anchor point, push the plus key on my keyboard and then click there, and now the minus key to get rid of all of these. So this is like an additional, this is just me being, I guess, a perfectionist, I guess, because I want this to be the exact same. So now I hold Shift C on my keyboard, that gives me this one, this pen tool right here, the anchor point tool, and then this is how we kind of add these Bezier curves on both sides. I'm going to hold Shift, I want it to be horizontal, and then just click and drag it out. So now it's going to be a nice, perfect curve, and similar on the same side, both left and right. And yeah, I also clicked this anchor point and just added some more weight. I felt like it wasn't as bold as I wanted it to be. So now it's a little bit bolder on the side, but I kind of like having slightly more weight towards the bottom portion. One thing to kind of make this look more uniform is I could actually edit this S letter a bit, and that's something I should have thought about prior. Alright guys, so I just went about doing that, but I kind of feel now that I probably should have showed that to you guys, so I'm just going to redo exactly what I just did to get from here to here, and then I'll kind of take it from there. So yeah, anyways, I took this one, hopefully you guys were putting these off, so I took this one right here, so this is the exact same one as the one that's right here, but anyways, so yeah, this looked like this a few seconds ago, but anyways, so making sure that everything is aligned, group everything, and then just obviously make sure it aligns. So usually when I click and drag them off, I'll hold like Shift or something like that, just to make sure they're all aligned. As you guys can see, just by holding Shift and then dragging it off, it just keeps everything aligned. So anyways, so yeah, I just ungrouped these really quickly. Granted, yours probably weren't grouped, but ungroup the text, and then considering we know where the center is, because I kind of figured it out up there, I took our E, push O on our keyboard, get on an axis, hold Option or Alt on a ruler, and then again vertically reflect that, push copy, and that puts the E to the other side perfectly. So I put that to light blue just so I can have it, so I can see it and separate it. So now I want to change our S to make it look like this one, and more like our E. So I'm just going to click these anchor points and then just drag them, and basically kind of trace our letter E really quickly. So this one has a point right there. I'm gonna push plus on my keyboard. That's the add anchor point tool, and then click and drag this one over. I'm just gonna get it about as good as I can get it. I think that's good enough for me, at least. So yeah, and I think I just did that very quickly. So this anchor point is not aligned with this one, so I'm gonna click this one, push A on that one, push A on your keyboard, and then click that one, and then hold Shift, and then click the next one. And when you hold Shift and click, we're gonna align it. So when you hold Shift, it highlights them both, and the last one you clicked is whatever anchor point you're gonna be aligning is gonna align to. So again, push A on your keyboard, select an anchor point that you want to align to something, and click the other anchor point by holding Shift, click to the one you want to align it to, and then go to your align, and then click that one. So you'll notice it just kind of moved. And this one the same, just to make those lines, make sure those lines are straight. Whoa, and I can really see that one. I'm pretty sure if I just delete these right here, I'm just gonna click this one and make sure it's nice aligned. I'm just gonna hold Shift and click both of these, and then Shift click this last one, and make sure they're aligned. So yeah, that bottom one wasn't actually aligned right there. So yeah, so next up we got this problem right here. This points off and then this one curves. So I want to put this over to this side, but thankfully, again, what we just did with our E, we're going to do with the left side of this outline. So I got a ruler, push M on my keyboard. I'm going to create a box to delete with. So I'm going to select our outline and then select our box. Make sure that this box is perfectly on that ruler, and then Shift click them both, and then go to your Pathfinder tool and then minus front. So don't panic. So now you'll notice your word mark is gone, but if you highlight, it's still there. It just blends in with the background. So I'm just gonna click this box right here, push O on my keyboard, and again I want to reflect it on the vertical axis. So now I'm just gonna Shift click both of those and unite it. So again, our word mark is not on the front anymore, it's behind it. So what I want to do is bring this outline to the back. So I'm gonna click the outline object right here, hold Shift and then Command or Control and then the left bracket key, and that's how you bring it all the way to the back. So if I kind of go up in here and then show you where this one is, it's right here. So as you can see, it's all the way to the back. So I'm going to click this and then do the opposite, hold Shift, Command or Control and then right bracket key, and then you'll notice up in here brought it all the way to the front of that layer, and then Shift, Command or Control, left bracket, it brings it all the way to the back. And if you simply hold Command or Control and then use the bracket keys. So right now I'm doing the right bracket key, this brings it up, then hold Command or Control and then left bracket key, that brings it down one object at a time. So yeah, I use that a ton. But anyways, now we're here, and again I did object path, offset path, and I went to 8 to give that weight right there. So now we have the exact same thing. So that brings me to the next part. I wanted to add a line to make this the same on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is measure out the distance really quickly. I told you guys I like using circles for this. It's by far the best way. So one thing you could do is bring a ruler and then just make sure your rulers are visible, and then just put it on each anchor point. So this distance right here, I want to recreate that. So now I created those rulers. I'm just going to create a circle and then make sure it snaps perfectly. Make it pink, and then I'm going to put this to the bottom. I'm just going to put another ruler there, make sure it aligns with one of these anchor points, and then align this with the top of that to that anchor point. So yeah, I'll show you guys why I'm doing this in a second, but anyways, I'm just going to take these and then hold Shift and Option or Alt, click and drag it down. I'm just going to make it pink so I can see it. So okay, alright, so what bar is actually important here? So this might be a bit tricky, but I'm just going to figure it out on the spot. So one thing I want to do again is I want this to be the exact same. So this is really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to add some rulers. I'm going to click this, bring it and snap it to this corner right here. I keep getting rid of them by mistake. And then snap this one to the top. So one thing I could do, the easiest thing to do is to simply highlight our text. So I'm going to go click on these two anchor points. I'm going to change the color so it's light blue. And again, follow our lines, our rulers, and our text as well. So now I can get rid of that text, and I'm going to click that one we just made, transform, reflect, on a horizontal axis, and then simply click OK. And then bam, now we have that. And if I make it white, I'm sure you'll see what I'm kind of getting at here. So yeah, so this is just an underline that fits the exact shape of our word mark. And that's just to create consistency on the top and the bottom. So now it's going to be kind of like a badge shape. So one thing I could do is simply, to make sure this works out, I could literally get rid of this outline and then create another, but then again I can't remember what the weight was. So what I'm going to do is actually put an anchor or a ruler there, a ruler here. So now I kind of have my distance. So again, I'm going to delete this. I got a word mark right here. I'm going to make it pink for now. Then Command or Control G to group it. Object, path, offset path. Before I do that, I'm going to zoom in a lot so I can see that. So yeah, object path, offset path, and then test around these numbers. So I'm going to try 15. Okay, so not enough. 25. Still not enough. 35. Okay, so 32 or 33 would probably do it. Oops. 32, maybe 34, 33. Okay, 33 is about perfect. So again, I wanted this outline right here from this to fill up this distance, this space. So I just did that. And again, oh, there's a big error there. So I'm going to go to Pathfinder and unite these. And then the same process over again. Ungroup, shift click, control or command G to group our text, push I on our keyboard, click a white area. Now it's white. So now you can see our outline is nice and pink. But yeah, so these little points, I'm not sure why that happened. I guess it's just, as you can see, if I make this light blue, it actually doesn't extend out, but it did for some reason on here. So one thing I could do is simply click this anchor point with our pen tool. So if I push P on our keyboard, it gives us the pen tool. Click on this anchor point, hold shift, click and drag down, and then continue to hold shift. Just make a box really quickly. And then push V on your keyboard, click the outline and the box we just made holding shift. And then hold shift again, and then push M. And this gives us this tool. I can't remember the name. And if you hold Alt, click and drag, and that'll delete. That's the shape builder tool now that I think about it, the name. So yeah, I'm just going to push minus on my keyboard, get rid of this little space up in there. And then I could do the same on this side. Okay, so now we have a perfect shape. So as you guys can see, it's the same on both sides. So yeah, that kind of looks cool. Alright guys, so yeah, now what I want to do is do what I kind of did up here. So I should still have it. Okay, thankfully I still have it. So I'm just going to copy these settings. So -10 and then 2. Okay, so I'm just going to add that to this one. First off, I'm going to click, highlight, or push V on our keyboard to get our selection tool, click, drag over everything, and Command G. So now it's nice and grouped. So yeah, now I'm going to go to Effect, and we arced the lower. It's already saved, but again, I'm going to warp, arc lower, and then again it was -10 by 2. So yeah, now we kind of have that kind of skewed effect going. So yeah, now I'm going to click and drag this off. That's one thing I forgot to do. So yeah, now I'm just going to go to Object, expand this guy, and then I could add some weight to this. I could just ungroup everything, and then click our outline, drag it down a bit by holding Shift. That kind of worked fairly well, and I didn't really think about that. That's going to look pretty nice. Okay, so I'm just going to stick with this. So yeah, I just kind of clicked and dragged that off. I just want this to kind of line up as good as possible, and that looks really good. I feel like I could possibly add some more weight, but I'm just going to leave it how it is now. So that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to actually click and drag these off to the side, just very briefly, just in case I mess up, and then combine them by doing the Unite on the Pathfinder tool. I'm just getting rid of these unnecessary anchor points. So now what I'm going to do is kind of add these shards off kind of like this. This is something I see in tons of esports logos, and it looks pretty dope. So we're going to do it. Bam. So now we kind of got that, and that just added a lot more aggressiveness, a lot more style. Just made it look pretty dope. So now I want to reflect that. So I'm going to click that one, push O on our keyboard, go to our ruler, hold Option or Alt, copy on a vertical axis, and then we got it on both sides, and that looks pretty dope. looks super dope. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I could kind of do that. No, I don't think that's gonna look good. So yeah, just gonna click this anchor point and kind of bump this over and just test the weight a bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. That looks a bit better. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select both of these holding shift on my keyboard while clicking them. Do the same thing with the underline. So wait, before I do that, I'm just gonna group these just so when I move one or change the color, it changes the color of both. Let's get that ugly old green up out of here. So I'm gonna ungroup our text, take our outline, or sorry, underline, and then group that with this one. I'm gonna make it the same color really quickly, and then again just group it. So now I'm gonna group that with the text, and then also make it all the same color. So I kind of want this electric vibe. So I'm gonna go to Visibone 2 right here. So I just went down to this box under our in our swatches panel, and then this gives up Visibone. So I'm gonna click and drag this up, and then drag this down. So yeah, as you guys can see, beautiful colors all up in here. And this, I'm kind of going for this electric color, you know, kind of like that. So yeah, any of these look really good if I'm being honest. So yeah, let's go to like Google and type in like electric blue or something, see what pops up. Some song by Arcade Fire. I'm gonna go to images, hopefully nothing pops up, or nothing dumb, I'll say. Nothing stupid pops up. But yeah, these are kind of not the blues I was looking for. I kind of wanted something more along the greenish area. And this one's super saturated. I'm just gonna bring that down a bit. And also added some more blue, kind of like that. Maybe. Somewhere like there. That looks kind of good. So yeah, now I'm gonna do what I kind of did on this one logo not too long ago, on this Kings of Death Sports logo that just recently got purchased. Shouts to the owner. But yeah, so these little lines right here, it's gonna look really good with this logo or this tutorial. So I'm gonna do that really quickly for you guys. So I'm still just gonna try it. So anyways, I'm gonna click our text, Control C, Control B to put it behind, and then Control 3 to hide it. So if I was to move this really quickly and then hold Option or Alt and then Command 3, that's what I just hid if you guys followed along. So that's just for backup. So now I'm just going to, I'm actually just going to unite everything. Or actually I'm not going to unite everything. I'm going to ungroup everything. And then ungroup this underline. So I guess I could have did that the first time. But I'm just going to group our text and our underline and leave these little shards alone. So now what I'm going to do is hold Option or Alt and then Shift and click and drag. Is that how I did it? I'm going to go to Object Path, Offset Path. We're going to try -5. So I just want to create some distance here. That looks pretty good. I kind of want to do -7. Might be too thin. This might not be the best text to do this with. So I'm going to leave it on -5. I'm going to make this a darker color. But before I click anything else, I'm just going to make it a darker color. I'm going to bring it up more blue, kind of that-ish area. And it looks okay. I'm kind of not a fan of it, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm going to keep it moving. So I'm just ungrouping everything, literally everything. Selecting the ones we just made. Highlighting them, Control or Command G to group, and now they're grouped, so I can hide and do as I please with those. So next up, what I want to do is take our original text and then do the exact same thing. Just group everything, holding Shift and then clicking. Make sure you don't click on the background. So yeah, I got all that grouped. I can bring it all to the front or bring it all to the back if I please. So yeah, now what I want to do is Control C on this original one and then Control F and bring it to the front by holding Shift, Command or Control, right bracket key. And then as you guys can see, if I just hold Shift and then drag it over a bit, I'm just going to go to transparency and bring it down so I can kind of see what I'm doing. So yeah, so now I just kind of want to cut off a bit of this. So yeah, and that'll just leave us with this little gap. So I'm just going to click the darker one and then the lighter one that we made. I'm going to make the lighter one nice and transparent. So now you guys can kind of see that little effect right there. So I'm just going to click both of these. I actually need to click all three, I think. Actually, no, I don't. So yeah, this is good. Just holding Shift and then Shift and M, and then delete everything we don't want. See, I don't want that. So I'm basically deleting all of this excess stuff right here. That'll just leave us with these nice little light blue cuts that you guys can kind of see already. So yeah, anything that doesn't look right, just kind of delete it, like these little areas right there. Get rid of those things, and we just want to have light blue boxes selected, as you can see right there. So now I'm just going to Command G again to make sure those are nice and grouped. So if I hide them and make them appear again, we kind of have that same effect. I'm actually going to bump this over to see what that does. Nope. Let's go back. Okay, so that looks kind of good. I'm going to make it on like a light gray for now and just see what it looks like with white. And then make it super not dark. So yeah, that kind of looks cool. That looks super interesting when I zoom out, because it kind of looks like a shadow from a light source coming from the left side, and it kind of looks like it's indented. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys there while I'm thinking out loud, but so yeah guys, this is looking super dope so far. Now I want to kind of do the same thing on the bottom. I should have did this at the same time just so the distances are the same, but I'm just going to eyeball it. So yeah, I got this line again that came from that one when I did it a few minutes ago. Now I'm just going to click, hold Shift, Option or Alt, or sorry, hold Shift, minus Shift, not Shift, so Option or Alt, and then hold Shift when you click and drag. And I just kind of want the weight from like here to this edge to be similar to that, which looks about good. So now I'm just going to Shift click on both of those, hold Shift M, and then push the hold Option or Alt, click and drag to delete. And yeah, so that shouldn't really be on that side, but I kind of feel like it would be great to have it. Okay, making sure I deleted the right one. So now I just kind of have this one in the middle. And one thing that would be super dope would be to bring this down. This is just super off the cuff, by the way. I didn't really think about it, but it looks pretty dope. So I'm just going to stick with it. So now that looks pretty good, and I kind of don't want it to go to the middle. Like right now it goes to the middle, so I'm actually going to add an anchor point about here somewhere, put one there. And then I'm just going to push minus on my keyboard and delete that anchor point. And now this is going to take some, okay, maybe nothing. So hold Shift, push C on your keyboard and delete that one. And bam, so now we kind of have it on that side. Kind of want to bring this up a bit, kind of like that. I'm just going to combine these two really quickly, and then I'm just going to reflect everything after I subtract it. So I'm going to push M on my keyboard, create a square, and then highlight our outline, our underline right here, get rid of that point. And again, then just delete it, get rid of that, it's unnecessary. And then take both of these, hold Shift and then click both, and then O on our keyboard, click on our anchor point, and then copy, make sure it's on the vertical axis, and now we got it to that side. So I'm just going to click our light blue ones, highlight those, and then I united them right here, and hold Command or Control left bracket key once, and then that brought that to the back, thankfully. Now I'm just grouping those two like that, and then bam, we kind of have that. What does that look like in white? Looks interesting. Without it, it's necessary. Okay, so we kind of got that so far. Now I kind of want to add even more weight to this. I think it needs an extra like 5 pounds or something. Maybe not 5, let's try 10. Yeah, that looks super bold. That's kind of what I like personally. So I'm going to try 7. Looks a bit more at a happy place. Happy medium. So I'm just going to start grouping everything that's the same color. So the light blue stuff, and make sure it's on the in the right area. So now group our darker blue ones, and then bam, I can hold Shift or Command and Control right bracket key to bring everything to the front, or bring these darker ones to the front. Now one thing we could do is just start testing out colors. So the color kind of depends on what you want to go for here. But again, I kind of wanted mine to be electric, I kind of want this to be a bit greener. I'm not really a fan of the color green, but it kind of works pretty good for this one, for this concept. So yeah, kind of like a color like that. Really electric. It's electric. Yeah. Now I just want to make a darker one, but I kind of want it to be a bit more blue, kind of like that. Maybe even more blue. Instead of making it darker, adding a bit more blue adds a bit more contrast in between there. So now that looks super electric, I guess you could say. That looks pretty good. So now we're going to go about adding that outline. Shouts to anybody I'm following here on Dribble. But yeah, so this red outline you guys see here, I'm going to go about doing that really quickly. So click on the outline, the black outline, and then as we did before, path, offset path, and then pick a size. 7 looks a bit thin, looks a bit skinny. 10 looks a bit thin as well. I'm going to test out 20, and then kind of go like that. That looks okay. So now what I'm going to do is push M on my keyboard, make this black. So I'm going to create a quick background, then highlight everything and drag it down by holding Alt and then Shift. So yeah. So that looks kind of good. Now I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm just kind of testing the weight. That outline is tremendously thick. So whatever that was is too much. 10 looks much more easier on the eyes, I guess you could say. So yeah guys, that's pretty much today's tutorial video. I hope you all enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you guys. I really kind of wanted to dive a bit deeper and do a proper text tutorial video. A lot of you guys have been missing that in some of my videos, you know, and I've kind of been holding off for a while. But anyways, hopefully this video wasn't too extensive. It was kind of, I guess, a bit advanced for someone who may have never made one before, but hopefully it was easy enough for you guys to kind of follow along and recreate what I've created or create your own version or something completely better. So yeah, if you guys like videos like this, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section and recommend another one if you guys have any requests, ideas, or anything like that. Lastly, I wanted to touch on the fact that me and Logo Inspirations have recently joined forces to bring you guys the first ever eSports logo course I've been mentioning in some of my past videos. So if you guys like detailed, more in-depth videos like this one, even more in-depth than this one with more background information, be sure to check out the course. It's not out yet, but you can sign up for early access. All you guys got to do is click the link in my bio, subscribe to the email list, and you guys will be the first person to know when it has officially been released, and check out the course. So yeah guys, again, Derek here from DaseDesigns.com. Click that link in the description. Be sure to sign up. Leave a comment if you guys would like. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Peace.